Exitology. Unlock your profits, unlock your potential show on the #1 global business talk and news network on the internet, IBGR, International Business Growth Radio, the world of business at your fingertips. Welcome. I am Jason Wally Waldron, the secret weapon behind owners, founders, and CEOs of blue-collar and industrial companies who apply Exitology to grow faster and maximize the value of their business. When these owners feel trapped in their businesses, we apply Exitology so you buy back your time and freedom. I am your host for today's show. This season we are discussing adventures in value acceleration. And value acceleration is the foundation of transferable value and the foundation of a successful exit. So forget the endless treadmill of hustle and grind hoping one day you'll retire. There is no need to throw the best years of your life away enslaved to your business. What if you could triple the value of your business and discover your path to freedom by making a few small changes over the next 6 months? With Exitology, you can. You can position your company for a lucrative sale. You can hand down your company as a legacy to your family or perhaps through an ESOP. You can create a passive income stream with the business you already own. Most importantly, you can regain your time and freedom. My hope for each of you listening is that you will discover how to take your business to new heights and set yourself up for the exit you desire. Ready? It's time to unlock your profits and unlock your potential. Value acceleration. What is it? Well, value acceleration is actually something that I discovered. And the value acceleration methodology that I'd like to share with you here today comes from a group called the Exit Planning Institute. And one of the leaders in that institute, a gentleman named Chris Snyder, helped create and innovate on this methodology. And the reason I want to share it with you today is because when I discovered this methodology, I found that it was both philosophically aligned with what we were doing here at Exitology, and also it's good business strategy. And so what we're going to talk about here over the next few minutes is really why would you consider applying a value method acceleration methodology to your business. We'll talk about a little bit about how it works, and what I'd like to leave you with is helping you understand what the methodology can do for you in terms of defining where you are and getting you to where you want to go. And so first, as we get going today, I want you to recall some of the previous episodes where I shared some aha moments with you in my own career, and specifically one where I found myself at the Federal Reserve building in Denver, oddly called the Kansas City Federal Reserve. And I stood next to a stack of $100 bills that were put behind bulletproof glass. And there was $30 million there. And as much as I stretched my arms out from top to bottom, I could not stretch out how high all of those stacks of $30 million was. And when I told you that story, I was telling you about how at Exitology we had a vision for how our company could bring forth $30 million of value for our clients. And why? Well, because entrepreneurs are the ones like yourself who are doing a lot of really hard grunt work and really thankless work. And we felt like it was time to take a stand for the forgotten man. You know, the one who gets taxed too much even though he takes all the risk. The one who stays after to make sure that the building is locked up. The one who, you know, he might have missed a few meals with his family because he was working late. And a few years ago, as we were working on this and growing these types of businesses, I came across a book written by Chris Snyder, and actually in a future episode we may actually interview Chris, and he'll tell us about this a little bit more. But the book is called Walking to Destiny, and Chris talks about a period of his career where he was working for a manufacturer, and he watched this business grow and perform what he called the perfect exit. And he was so inspired by what he saw there that he wanted to implement what worked in that business across a whole bunch of other businesses. And that inspired me. And the methodology that he put down on paper, he called the value acceleration methodology. And as I looked into this deeper, I realized that not only was it a lot of what we were doing on our Grow to Exit value accelerator, but that we would fit into this methodology and actually help more businesses like yours grow to exit. And so I worked with the Exit Planning Institute and became a certified exit planning advisor. And what's cool about it is it puts a lot of team members in place for you, the business owner, to go through the 5 stages of your business exit. And so I want to just walk you through what these are right now to set the stage for the value acceleration methodology. And so the first thing you do is you identify. And what you're doing when you identify is you want to know about your business. And so what I mean by that is you want to determine the initial value of your business as it stands today. And remember, why is there even a thing called exit planning? Well, because if there's 10 business owners who want to exit their business in the next year, if we visited with them a couple years later, only 2 would have successfully exited. And the odds of those 2 being happy are incredibly low. The odds are actually that those 2 who actually did get to the promised land experienced profound regret. And so while we can't go into all of the aspects of what it takes to create a successful exit, I can at least give you a high-level overview of that and why you might consider working with someone who understands the value acceleration methodology. And so step 1 is to identify what's the initial value of your business. So could be a simple snapshot of the business. In fact, that's where we start with our customers. We just give them a snapshot of a comparable area of where their business might be valued. And then from there, we identify what factors need to move to accelerate that value. And so, of course, a big part of what we do is we help the business grow. So the metric by which we know that we are actually bringing value is in your transferable value metric. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So we don't do vanity metrics. We don't do, we created more leads, we created more follows, we created more this, more that, more opens. No. Either your business is worth more a year from now because you worked with us, or it's not, right? Very different. Next is now, how do you start to protect your wealth? And this is where, as you start to want to mitigate death, disability, divorce, distress, and disagreement, how are you going to protect yourself from that? Just a couple days ago, I spoke with a lady who is entering her 70th year on this planet, and she wants to be retired and has wanted to be retired for 15 years. Her husband wants to work himself into the grave, and yet he has major health problems. And so they have not identified where they want to go and gotten on the same page, and she has not done enough to protect herself from the eventuality and likelihood that her husband will be dead in the next 10 years. So it really is life or death. What do you do once you've put this foundation in place and understood how close or far you are from your dream exit? Well, you build. And building is really a huge part of where we play. It's the majority of where we play, actually, at Exitology. And we want to increase your cash flow and improve your multiple, because your multiple is the number that somebody is going to buy you for. And so it takes into account your tangible assets, your intangible assets. It takes into account risks. And so common question is, what are intangible assets? Well, it might include your human capital, it might include your structural capital, customer capital, very important, social capital. Then what do you do as you're starting to get into that exit? Then you harvest. And so once your business value has grown to where you want it to be, you harvest the fruits of your labor. And there's numerous paths that you can take on your business exit. Everything from selling out to private equity to finding a strategic buyer through a mergers and acquisitions approach to taking a hybrid approach. Maybe you sell most of your value of your business in step one, and then you take what's called a second bite of the apple later. Maybe you separate your real estate out from your business. There's many, many ways to harvest. And then finally, once you've harvested, you manage that wealth that you've created. And those are really the 5 stages of a business as they go through value acceleration. But what's the methodology? Well, the methodology is the actual process and the actual business strategy process that you go through to take yourself through those 5 stages that I just spoke about. And so a couple of things that you can expect as you start off the methodology. I can't speak to the entire methodology here today, but I can get you started. And what you want to expect is somebody's going to want to define what's called your wealth gap. And that is, how far are you from identifying where you are today to harvest, right? And manage. So how far are you? And then we'll look at more of a business side. What is your profit gap in your business? And then finally, since it's all about that multiple, what is the value gap? And as you go through the first part of this discovery period in value acceleration, you'll be asked questions about your personal readiness score. Because again, just because your business is ready doesn't mean you are. Remember the story I just told you? One of the people in that business is totally ready to exit, and the husband would die at his desk if he could. And then you'll look at your business readiness score. And once you have all of these initial data points in place, you can let the data and the process drive where you're going to go from there. And what I like and frankly love about this process is that it's very objective. And my favorite question that gets asked as you're building the business is, do I grow or do I exit? And so in the next few minutes, I'm going to share some stories about how we grew people to exit. You're listening to the Exitology, Unlock Your Profits and Unlock Your Potential podcast on the International Business Growth Radio Network.